Hola and welcome. I am super excited for today's video. I am finally going to design some website banners in Canva for your Shopify store. I have been wanting to record this in forever and I just haven't been able to do that. So we're going to use some of the popular graphics that you might have seen around in order for your website to look fresh and updated and all that jazz. So this is going to be a two-part video. So today I'm going to show you how to design in Canva. And then the next video will be the formats in which you're going to download them, some SEO practices, and then some features that are within Shopify to also enhance your images there as well. So I can't wait to get started. Let's jump in, and that's it. So we're in Canva, and if you have no idea what you want to do, what kind of banner you want to create, then we can simply just start with the search within Canva. So we're going to do a children's website, a banner for a children's website. So let's go ahead and enter children's website. Just like that, let's start off broad and see what Canva gives me. And perfect. So here you are. Lots of selections here for a children's website banner that could help with creating our own banner. Okay, so one of the things that you could do here when you're searching for banners is to look for one that matches your aesthetics the best. So what is the brand feel for you? That will be the first thing that you want to look at. Also, another thing that you could do is apply your filters, and you can go by their brand color. So you can either pick one of these or you can enter your own specific brand color. So let's say we're doing children. So we're going to go with this orange color and we'll press apply. And then you'll see you'll have website banners. Now they might not be the children's one, but now we have website banners that already have the color that in my brand. So if you're not a very visual person, so this might be a little bit more helpful to be able to see the colors that you're using in your brand, and that helps you decide which banner you would like to use. Okay, so that is one way that you can filter. Well, actually that's two ways, right? So you filter by your niche, filter by the color. Another thing that you could do is, let's say you like a particular template, you can click on the template and then you'll have more like this. So it'll give you additional templates that are similar to the one that you just selected. Okay, so you have that. And then if you come down a little further down, you'll have explore more, and it'll also give you additional keywords that are related to what you just clicked. So obviously you'll see cat, pet shops, right? Because you picked this one here. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the one with the children, and let's look to see what we can find. So I like this one. This one's really cute. If your theme allows for a video for your hero banner, this is a really good option. So let's go ahead and use this template here and make it our own. Okay, so let's go ahead and customize this template. Now, as far as the size, as you can see, the file size for this image is 1366 by 768. That I think is a little bit too small of an image. Shopify's broad suggestion is for a hero banner to be 1920 by 1080, but just look for the image specifications for the theme that you are using. That usually have the images and the suggested size for the image. Okay, so this one's a little bit small. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to a size that I normally use, a 1600 by 1050. Or so anywhere between those two numbers, you'll be fine. Okay. Now, the resizing tool is for pro users, but what you can do is, let's say you already have an idea of what you would like, right? What you can do is you can just go back to another template and just add another template, and then so we're going to go ahead and just create it a custom size. So now you have the size that you want, and then you can just go back and forth so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Okay, so that is an option for you. But we really like this one, so we're going to go ahead and just replicate it for you. If you have the Canva Pro, then this here is, let's inspect this actually. So if we go to position here, we can see that this is actually an image by itself. So let's go ahead and see detach image. So this is an image. Let's go ahead and put that back. So it's very simple design. So it's just the button, the 2 text lines, and the image. And what they did for the image is they added an animation of drift. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and replicate that. If you already have your own image, then upload your own image. Obviously, if you have a clothing line, you have your own clothing. But since I don't have one, I'm going to upload an image that has a child that represents the clothing line that I have. Okay. So I'm going to go to Elements and write children's clothing. And then I'm going to go to Photos and see what I can find. So these kids really here are cute. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. And as you can see, right, it takes up the whole image. So we're going to take up the whole image here. Then as it did here, it was a drift, right? So we come back here and we add animation to animate. And then we'll go to drift, which is the animation that other one did. Okay. Now the intensity and the direction is for pro users. And so if you do have a pro account, the intensity determines the speed. Okay. And then direction is which direction is coming from. So if you don't have a pro account, you would just have the animation here for the drift. So let's go ahead and just use drift. Now, as you can see here, the background color, we need to change that. So when the image is sliding, it stays the yellow. Okay. So what we'll do here, let's go ahead and make this a little bit smaller, highlight the back, and let's make that the same color as the yellow. So we'll click right here. We're going to grab the eyedropper and let's grab this color right here. Now let's put the image back. All right, and now we have it adrift. So what we can do is when you add an animation, it adds a timer to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and now play it and see what it's going to look like. All right, so that's pretty cool. I don't like this here. Personally, I don't like that. So what options that we can do here is that you can remove the background. Again, if you don't have Canva Pro, you can simply download this image. Well, you can't download this one because it's a Canva Pro image. But if you find one that's not a Canva Pro image like this one, you can download it, remove the background, and then do the same effect that I'm going to do here. So we're going to go ahead and edit this image and let's remove the background. Okay. Now let's play it again. Now we don't see the background, the differences in the background. Okay. So let's bring them down here, just all the way down here. And what we want them to end up, let's go back to our sample here. Let's see. Okay, so he's sliding from there. So let's put them right here. And this is just trial and error, right? You're just looking to see what it is. And if you don't want them to be that large, you want to decrease the size, you can certainly do that. All right, now let's check to see if that's going to do what we want. Okay, so now I brought them all the way from the outside of the image. So how about we do this? Again, as you can see, it's just trial and error. Just find where you want it to start and stop. All right, that's perfect. So we wanted to stop right there. Perfect. So now you can either take this image, well, it now becomes a video. So we can go and share it. And what you'll do is you click on download and it's going to be an MP4 video. And that's how you're going to download it because it has the animation. And then you download it. Okay. So the two options here is that we can go ahead and write the text right in here and just upload the video. It'll become a video in its entirety into Shopify. If Shopify allows you to have a video for an image banner. However, if you write all of the text here, right, you have to keep in mind that when you take it into Canva, that you have to have the option for the whole banner to be clickable. Otherwise, we're going to add buttons here for them to shop all or shop now or whatever it is that you want them to do, whatever your call to action is, your CTA. it's not going to be clickable unless your theme allows for that. Okay, so what I would tell you to do is if your theme does not allow you to do that, then we go ahead. The theme, we've already done our first hero banner, so we're going to upload it just like that into our Shopify store and then add the title and the button within Shopify. So a tip for you is that if you write the images within here, that is perfectly okay. Just know that for the most part, Google does not read text on images. So if this is a banner that you're going to have on your website for a little bit, then I would tell you to write the text in Shopify. That way, when Google crawls your website, they're able to see the title and your call to action of that page on your website. Okay, so if you do all of the text here, it's not going to do that. It's just going to recognize an image, and then the next section under your hero banner is probably maybe your best sellers or your new arrivals. So just think about that. Now, again, these banners that you create, if they're like for a short sale or it's maybe for Valentine's or Christmas or 4th of July, where it's just going to be there for a short amount of time, it's okay. It really is no big deal. But for images that are going to be on your site for a couple of weeks, you want Google to know what that page is about. Okay, it's going to know it's your homepage, but what about your homepage, right? So think about your hero banner as your heading for your website. So remember, every web page has a heading 1, right? Which tells you what is the objective of that page. What are we going to find in that page, right? So the About Me page is called About, and you know that what you're going to find on that page is information about you, right? Your frequently asked questions page, again, your FAQ page, you know that that page is all about FAQs. If you come to your website, like your homepage, you're going to know is your homepage, but what is your homepage about, right? What is it that you want them to do or know about your business, right? So I got into whole detail of that, but I just know that you need this information, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay, so we're going to pretend this is a weekend sale that we want to use this banner for. Okay, so now remember, because this has the animation, it's going to be a little bit weird, but stick with me. Okay, so what we're going to do, in this case, I'm going to need my ruler, right? Because I want to make sure that my text takes up half of the screen. So let's go back and let's play this banner and see where it stops. Right, so I want the text to be right here. So we're going to put the text right here. So it's going to take up maybe about where the little boy is. Okay, so that's where our text is going to be. So we're going to go, if you shortcut key, you click on the letter T and your text will come up here. Right, so what we have here, so I'm going to use this as the example. Okay, so this is just going to be the name of the company, who they are, so Classy Trends for Little Ones, and then the button here. Okay, so Classy Trends for Little Ones. So I like that. So actually I can just copy because I'm not that creative. So I'm just going to copy, all right, and paste that here. Right, that's there. And remember, we want it to be in the middle. What I'm going to do here is show you, if we go click on files and we go on view settings, it'll show you your rulers here, and you also have guides that if you want to use. So I'll show you what that is. So if you click on guides, you can have it set to however guides you want. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I just want 2 columns, right? So add my guide. So now this is the center of my design. Okay? So I'm going to use my text here. I don't want it to go all the way to the end. So you want to give a little bit of room on the ends just in case it gets cut off, right? So I just want a little bit right there, but I want the text to be in the center. Okay? So let's go ahead and place this right here. Now let's test it, right? Let's click on play and let's see where this ends up. All right, so I can either move it or move this image here. Let's see which one looks better. Okay, just trial and error. It's just playing around and getting to know how these things work. Okay. So I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to use a white. Let's click on here, and let's go with a font that will be good for a children's website. You can use your own fonts here. Just know you have to use your own fonts. So whatever fonts you're using on Shopify, if you're not using any custom fonts, Shopify has lots and lots of fonts that you could use. Just make sure that that font is available here on Canva, okay? If it's not, two things. I highly suggest that you either purchase that font so that you could use it everywhere, so you have a license for it, or find a font that is as close as possible to the font that you're using in Shopify. Why? Because that is brand recognition. You don't want to use different fonts in different places. All of your fonts need to be the same. Let's try Oswald. And let's see how that looks. I like Oswald for this one. Then I'm going to add some effects here for that, so it's not so flat. So let's add a little bit of a lift. And the intensity, again, it's the higher intensity, the more you see it, the lower, the less you see it, okay? So I think I might like that intensity there, or we can also try the shadow. Now with the shadow, you just have to, let me zoom in a little bit better here. See the shadow? You can change the background color of that shadow. So that gray here, let's go ahead and change that. And let's make that a dark gray and see what that looks like. All right. And let's bring it in here, and let's make the offset just a little bit closer. Right. So bring it back and see if you like it, right? Whether you like that, if you don't like that, whatever, you just change it. Okay. I'm going to try the black, and I'm going to increase the intensity, or otherwise known as the opacity. So I can, that pretty much looks good there. I think I like that. Okay, and now if we go back to the one that we liked is the name of the company. So let's go ahead and copy that, because as I said, I'm not that creative. All right, so let's put that there, and let's bring that down. Now this one, I'm going to give this one a little bit of a lift because the fonts are so big already. Okay. And then I'm going to bring the spacing between the words a little bit closer. Okay, so what you will do here, you come up here where it says spacing, and then you're going to fix the line spacing. So I'm going to bring that closer together. I like that much better. Okay, so I'm going to bring that there. Let me zoom back out. I'm going to grab them. I'm going to grab these two and then just bring this down here just a bit. Now I'll add the buttons. So now you can create the buttons yourself, or you can choose the elements and just click on button and see what Canva can suggest for you. We're going to go to graphics here. So you can use any of these, or you can create your own. You can simply create your own, completely up to you. Let's click on this one here. Oh, that is a pro feature. I'm trying to use free for all of you who are on the free plan, but let me tell you, the Canva Pro is so worth the cost. Okay, and as you can see, I naturally always go to the ones that have Pro because they always look nicer, and that's why they're on Pro. Okay, all right, so let me look for something that I like. I'm not gonna take, I don't want to take too much time, but I just can't help it. Let's use this one. All right. Oops. Okay, now this one, we can either keep it as is with the colors that it currently has. It actually matches the girl's shirt. So I might want to just keep that here. How is it over here? Over here it's not centered. See how it's meaning it's not centered to here. You see how that none of that is centered? That drives me crazy, but it's fine. It's going to be okay. All right, I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to keep it there. And then since, like I said, since it matches her color, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it just like this. And then I'm going to, again, T for text, and I'm going to click on Shop Now. let's bring that, make that a little bit smaller. Let's center it within the box. You see how the crosshairs come? You have horizontal and vertical. That means that the text is within the center of that element. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and make that bold, and I'm going to make it white. And let's see how we like that. Okay. So now because it's centered to the element, it doesn't mean anything. I want it to be centered to the navy. So I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit, kind of just eyeball it there. Okay. All right, so now you've created the banner. So now let's look at what it is once the animations come in. So as you see that, I had an animation in the text because the original one had an animation, okay? Let's say if you don't want that, not a problem. Let's come here, click on the element, go to the animation, and just remove animation, okay? Now let's try that again. So there we go. Now you could use this as a simple animated hero banner for your website. You just have to upload your own images if you have children that you have models for, or if you have mock-ups. Remember, you can always use mock-ups that are presenting your line of clothing, right? You have different images that you could use for the same effect. Another website that I just recently came across, and I'm like, oh, this is a great one to try to replicate, is Just Fab. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's like a subscription type of a website. Anyway, doesn't matter. Check out this banner for upcoming President's Day. So perfect. It's one image, and then you have the rotating images on this side. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to replicate this in Canva. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a snippet. So the snippet tool is how you can copy just a quick like screen print. All right, so that way we could use it. So let's go ahead and put on the other screen. Let's close this one and let's create a new page. Actually, I'm going to paste it right here so that we can reference back to it. Okay, so this is another popular design. So again, you could use this for anything. You could use this for any brand, really. They're using a clothing. We already did a clothing. So let's go for something else. So let's go onto the elements and let's look for makeup. Let's do makeup. All right, we're going to go to images. The only thing that I would tell you to be mindful of is the coloration. Okay. So, and what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, you see how these images here, it's a little bit darker up here than it is down here. So you can still do that. Here, let me show you some tricks here. So you can still do that. Let's make this image here. Let's make this background the same color. So we go to the dropper here. Let's grab this dropper and you decide which color you want. You want the darker color or the lighter color. It really doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and make that color. And then what you could do is that you can try to blend it in. Now, as you can see, it's not always exact. So what you can do is use the colors that Canva themselves extracted from those colors and see if those match a little bit better. Okay. So you can either do this. I'm going to move her over I'm just going to move her over just a little bit here. Right? We're just using it as an example. We're not copying. We're using this as inspiration, right? So actually, so we'll do that. We'll put her there. And then what we could do to help with this line that we're seeing here is that you can use a blur. So you would have to find one of these blur here to be able to soften that up a little bit, or you can, this is the spot where you can add something else. You can add a border of some sort just to hide that a little bit, or you can just remove the background on her, right? So you can download this image. You can download this here. You just click on share, download, because these are free images that you could use. So you can download it, remove the background, and upload it if you don't have Canva Pro. So that's another way of going around that. The glow creates that depth, okay? So what you could do is you remove the background. So let me show you. We can remove the background and then add that depth perception yourself. So come back into, oh, I lost it. Come back to your blur. And then let's add that's pro. If you have a pro, I mean, you could just use this one. I'm going to go ahead and use this one because this one's for free, right? And then you can add that glow yourself in the background here. So you can just think that will probably be look good here. We go to position and then we bring that behind her. And there we go. Okay. So another option for you. Okay. I always like to teach you things and give you some options. All right. So now let's add these images here. Okay. Now, as I'm looking at this, I forgot that this is actually, we have to use a video format in order to do that. And this is not a video format. So put a pin on that. We'll come back to it. Let me show you how to add like a collage type of banner that has images here along the side and then the text. Okay, so let's do that. So let's look for more images that are makeup. And let's do, it's a makeup brand. She doesn't have a lot of makeup. It's very, oh, she does, but it's very natural makeup. So let's have a variety of makeup images. So let's do maybe brushes, right? As you notice, I am picking images that the colors are similar to the colors that are here, right? So the point is to, in order to have a coherent slideshow or anything on your website, is that the colors are very similar to each other, right? So that is kind of like a tip there, is to have that color coordination. Okay, so we'll pick up more lipsticks and makeup that are around that same color. Doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be exact, but that they're similar. Okay, and then we can just start arranging them. We can come back to that in just a moment here. Let's look, see if we can find some other ones really quickly. We can also just pick colors of see women that are with that have the makeup on, like eye makeup, all of these. Now that I'm seeing them, actually there's a lot of those, so we can just do these, right? Okay, so let's do those instead. Let's do pictures of more pictures of women. So if you stack them, you see how you automatically it stacks them up kind of next to each other. If you just highlight all of them, then you can just resize them all at the same time. Okay, then you can just come in here and then start arranging them however you want to arrange them. Okay, and you do want them to kind of sort of be the same size, but not, doesn't have to be. These are already layered based on the order in which I put them, but let's say you want this one in front, you can go into the position and either arrange it. You can either bring it to the front like this by dragging it, if you saw the how it went to the front, or you can go into the arrange and then you can bring it to the front. Either way, it'll get you to the same, for you to do the same thing. But remember that if you do that, then this one is going to look odd. So then, you know, it'll be a domino effect, right? So then you just push this one forward just a little bit. And there we go. So that could be your banners. This still needs to be a little bit smaller because we need the space for the text, right? So let's do this. Okay, and that will allow me to actually put even more images here. Okay, and then the text, you would just put the text here, whatever you want it to say. So let's do sale. We're going to keep that font, so we're just going to copy and paste it. Do want those to be aligned just a bit, so it could just simply be like that. If you want the text to kind of be behind her hair, you can just do increase the font size like that and then bring her to the front, right? And then that way her hair covers a little bit of that 50% off, so that kind of looks nice. Or you can just simply just move her over to the side so you have more space there, and then you can add more images here. Now the images, I just wouldn't leave it like this. So let's go ahead and grab a few more images. I don't want you to think that that's how I would leave it, because it's not. So let's add some of these. How many more do I need? Maybe two more. Let's see what it looks like. All right, let's grab her and this image. Let's line them up here and then make sure they're all the same size. Okay. So here, bring her here. All right, I think that looks good. And again, you can make the images bigger and then just put the 50% off for the front, so they're, you know, layered in the front. How you would like that to be. All right, and so that could be your banner there. Then you can add the link here for your call to action. So let's go ahead and make one from scratch. I'm going to show you how to do that. So in the design here, you just click R for rectangle. Okay? Then you bring that rectangle down to where you want that button to be. Go ahead and size it from here. Okay? Put that there for now. And then what you'll do is you click on the color, and then we're going to make it transparent because we don't want a color, right? Unless you do, you can leave the color there too if you want. But we're going to have it transparent, so we want no color, but we do want a color on the line. So let's make a border. So let's make that a 5. And then I want the corners to be a little bit rounded. So let's make that a 10. And then I'm going to grab now the border and make it the same color as the text. Okay, let me click out here, and then you have your custom button, however you want to do that. Okay, if you double click right inside of it, now you can type inside and not have to do a text box. Okay, you could do shop now. If you want it in uppercase, I'm just gonna go ahead and make that uppercase. I want that to be bold, and I also want the text to be the same color, so let's make that there and just a little bit bigger. So that is there. And then now let's add some effects. Now, what really makes a really good banner, whether you notice it or not, is the amount of layers that the design has. So the amount of layers and the depth perceptions that designs have is what gives it that touch of it being done by a professional. Actually, I want to make it just a little bit. I want to bring in the 50% off just a little bit there. All right, I wanted to just bring that there. And then the same things for the images. Add a little bit of depth to those images. So edit the image here, and then we'll go on to the shadows. And then you can either do an outline. You can have an option to do the outline, but for now, for this particular design, I want to add a glow. And so do you see that? Okay, so I'm going to add a glow, and then with the glow, you have a whole other set of options that are available to you. So the size of the glow, if you look at it, let me zoom in a little bit more here. So if you decrease or increase the size of the glow, do you see what that does? Okay. I always like to keep it between 5 and 10. So for this particular one, I'm going to go with 5. And then the blur amount, again, just take a look at here, is just that, the size of the blur. I think 20 is good for that. And then the angle, I'm going to leave the angle just as it is, but you can come here and play with it. Now with the glow, it doesn't always have to be black. You can change the color of the glow. So for here, let's say if we want the glow to be white, let's go ahead and do that. We can make the glow white. And then the intensity, similar to the transparency, the higher it is, right? There it goes. The more you see that white, the lower it is, the less you see it. Okay? So you can do that. Okay? So play around with it and get it to where you want it. But the point is to always add layers to the elements that you're using. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that instead of having it, see how I had it off center, I'm actually going to bring them all in so you see them all. Now I don't want to do this for each and every one of them. So what you can do now that that image is selected, you can click on the copy style and then click on each image, and it will apply that style to each of those images, and you don't have to redo them each one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one in because now I decided I don't want them to be off the page. I moved the first one, and I moved the last one. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight them all, go to position, and then I'm going to space them evenly horizontally. Okay, that way it spaces them out automatically, not moving the first and the last one. All right, and so here is a quick maybe sale banner for you that you could use. And then you can add the disclaimer here that this is the sale is for 50% off sale on, let's say, shop makeup, right? If you sell other types of things, you can increase this to make space for it. So now you have a template, and so now you can switch them out. So let's say if you're having a 25% off for the same makeup line, then you can come back and use the same template. You can just switch out the 50% off to 25% off to 75% off, whatever you have, but you already created a template that you can come back to and use over and over again for different sales that you have going on. You just have to maybe change the colors for a specific holiday. So you can simply just duplicate this page here and then maybe change the background color. Or if you have specifically the sales are going for maybe eyeliners, then you can come in here and change these images for your eyeliners, your skincare line, your fragrances, whatever that could be. You can just change out the images there for you. Okay. All right. Okay, my friends. So now let me show you how to do this one. We have to use a video template in order to create this in Canva. At least that's the only way I know how to do it. Okay. So we don't have to start from scratch all over again. I'm going to take some elements of what we've created here and add it to the other template. Okay. So I'm going to grab all of this part section here. We're going to copy and I'm going to bring it into the video template, come over to Canva, and then we're going to open a video file and we're going to paste those elements here so we don't have to recreate them all over again. Let me just put it right there. Okay. Now note that for this particular video file, the video file size here, in order for this to work, this is going to be the size that it's going to do it, 1920 by 1080, which is perfectly okay because that's the size that Shopify says that that's the recommended size for images. So we're going to go ahead and do that for video. But again, before you spend the time doing this, ensure that Shopify allows MP4 video or any video to be uploaded to the hero banner. Okay. I don't want you to spend all this time working on this and then your theme doesn't allow for this. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start with this design. So as you can see, this one's a little bit bigger. Not only is it wider, but it's a little bit taller. Okay, so we're gonna have to make her a little bit taller here. And actually for this design, I'm going to bring her closer to the end here. Okay, and then we're gonna bring this up here. So it's right, like it's up above her shoulder. Okay, so let's leave that there for now. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the elements and let's do the same thing. We're going to look for makeup. And then this time we're going to go for CO images. And then we're going to filter for vertical images. Okay, so that's a quick way to see all of the vertical images for you. So let's go ahead and grab some images here that are similar to the style that we were going for before. Let me go ahead and change this color background here real quick. All right, so now let's go grab some of these images here. So I like this one. You can grab the image and make it vertical like this, or you can make it a little bit wider. I think I want to keep it there. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I'm going to do something here. All right. All right, so there we go for that design. And if we go back to our original one, it had a border on both sides. So let's move this a little bit over. And then let's add some borders. So now you can either grab a border from here, or you can create your own with a line. Okay, so let's see what they've got here. We're going to go to see all. And this is free. So let's grab this one. Let's make it vertical. And let's see how much we can, if we can manipulate this exactly how we want it. If not, we'll just go ahead and create our own. All right, see, I don't like that. So I'm going to create my own and I'm going to show you how to as well. So click on the design. Shortcut key is press L for line. It creates that line. Okay. Let's go ahead and make that 90 degrees. And let's make that border right there. And let's bring this down here to the end there. And you can change that to whatever color you want. Let's make that the brown. And let's make the line thicker there. Okay. All right. That looks good. And then you click on the line and then press and hold the Alt key. Click on the line and press and hold and drag. And then that way you have the other one. All right. So there we're kind of getting right close to what we're doing here. All right. So that is the first image. Let's make this exactly how we want it because now we have to start duplicating. Let me make the button. It was transparent before. I don't want it to be transparent anymore. What was that brown color? Let's add some color to it there. Let's add the border, make it even darker. Good. Now let's grab this and make it a little bit, not her, this in here. And let's make this a little bit bigger here. And then we can just move this. I think that looks good there. You can either do that there or add even another element to this. I keep giving you gems. Add another element to this, make it, oh, she keeps moving. All right, if once you have an element exactly where you want it and you know you're not gonna wanna move it so that this doesn't keep happening, grab it and then just lock it in place there. That way you don't move it. Remember we have that shadow back there. Let's move the shadow there and let's lock that in place as well. Okay, so now we can grab these and not move anything around. So what I wanted to do is here, if we make this bigger, we can even do this if you'd like. Make this a big, big, big 50% off. Grab it. Let's move this. Copy and paste it and then put it right over the other one. So the 50% off, so it stays exactly there. Then you go into effects and then click on hollow and then bring the thickness down. And you see how now she's like there's a sandwich between between the elements. Okay. And then what you can do to get to the back of the 50% off, you do have to come to the position layers and then click on the elements here and you can change the color if you'd like. But we'll go ahead and brighten it and just make it all white. Let's do that. That is an effect that has been used a lot. You see it everywhere now. And if you want to move her over, you can just unlock and then see that. Pretty cool, huh? So you can put her everywhere and you can still see the 50% off. All right, so let's leave it there. I think that looks good, right? It's a sale, right? You want them to know there's a sale. All right, so that is good. I'm happy with the way that looks. Let me bring this up just a little bit. Okay, so there is a banner for you. Okay, now what we'll do with her, this image here is that we're going to animate it. Okay, and now you pick whatever animation you will like to see. And you can see this here, right? If you hover over them, you can see the effects that they create. So I like the photo zoom. So let's go ahead and use the photo zoom. And then here, in addition to this options here, you have the, again, the animate on enter, exit, or both. I just want it on enter. Okay. And then you also can do it whether you want the zoom to come in or you want the zoom to come out. All right. So I like the out. Perfect. All right. So now we got it exactly how we wanted. Okay. Now what you'll do is you're going to duplicate this the amount of times for the amount of images that you want. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to keep it with 3 images. So now we're going to grab the second one and then we're going to remove this image and let's find more. Go to makeup, see all, and then we want to the vertical and see what we've got. Okay. Let's use this one. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll fill in between those lines there. And ensure that the image is behind the lines. Okay, so the images will be behind these 2 lines. You see the lines? It's going to be behind it. Okay, just like in this first image. You see how the image is behind the line? Okay, all right. And then one more time. Let's pick another image. Let's do this one. All right, and then what's left to do is the timing. Canva automatically times everything when you do animation at 5 seconds, but that's too long. So what you'll do, we're going to go ahead and change that to 3 seconds, and we're going to apply it to all the pages. Okay, so instead of 15 seconds to rotate through the 3 images, now it's just going to be 9. Okay, so now let's go ahead and play, and let's see what we like. All right, I didn't animate, but as you can see, the two different effects. Do you want that to go like that, or do you want it just the images? Happy accident. It was a happy accident. I actually like them both coming in that way. So let's highlight her, go to the zoom, and then remove animation. Let's see it again. And voila, there you have a banner with different images coming in. All right, so now let's head back to our original file. So this one here, let's remove this one. And I want to show you another popular graphics that you could use for your banner. And it has to do with how the letters weave in and out of other elements. So I want to show you how to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and remove this one for now. Okay, and let's find an image that has to do with shoes. Let's go with shoes. And again, this is going to be one of those things where you do need to remove the background. So let's take a look here, and perfect. This will work. Let's add some text here that's nice and big so that you can weave it in and out. Okay, so that will be awesome there. Okay. And let's try another type of font. I would like a long font would be nice, because we're just going to do very basic. So I'm just going to kind of show you how it's done, and then you can play around with it. All right, let's try this font. This is kind of nice. All right, and let's do Vans Off the Wall. Right, because that's the name, right? Vans Off the Wall, that's what it's called. All right, so if we make it nice and big here, nice and big, so we can hide some of the text, but you can still see what it is, right? Okay, so what you'll do here is, this is going to be your base, right? It's the text and then the image. Now what you need to do is you're going to grab the image, you're going to copy and paste the image, it's going to go right up on top, and then you have to remove the background. Okay, so all we want is this leg here. See where I'm going? Okay, let's remove the background. Boom. Look how quick that was with this background remover. Okay, so it can weave. Since we only need the leg, you could just bring this in right here. And you can actually do effects on this one. So you can do a curve if you want it to. You can do that. You can do. Now let's move this a little bit higher here. And then we could separate this a little bit as well. So if you want to see the T, you can also just separate this. How about we do copy and paste this? How about this one? It's just Vans. Boom. Yes. You see, you kind of just have to play with things around, try different things, and when it clicks, man, it clicks. Like, oh, I love it. Okay, don't mind me, guys. I obviously love what I do, but you get what you want. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so bam, this is ready to go. All we have to just is download it. For this particular one, I will add the button in Shopify. I wouldn't add the button here. In Shopify, you can designate where you want your button. So you can, for this example, I would have the button in the center bottom. Okay, so that's what I would do. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what you guys create. So this is going to be a two-part video. So on the next video, I'm going to show you the formats in which you are going to download them, how to compress your images, how to upload them to Shopify, and a few other settings within Shopify that can also enhance your images as well once you upload them into Shopify. So until next time, my friend, let me know in the comments below which one of these banners you're going to try. and I will see you in the next video.